Cutback for Vasilev and Lukic! A banger of a strike for Jovan Lukic's first MLS goal!
It's fallen out to Westfield! Oh, wow! He's nearly taken the roof of the net off! Philadelphia pounce again!
Who gets his goal in his Union debut? The record signing! Off and running in his first appearance for the club!
Hello and welcome to the Free Kick Podcast. My name is Todd, and wow, what a week of Philadelphia Union soccer towards the end of last year, and I guess it really kicked off the very last day, the dying embers of 2025, thanks to the man that's sitting across the screen from me on StreamYard, just absolutely nuking the end of 2025 with a bombshell report of Kai Wagner joining Birmingham City. And then a day or so later, we get a report that the Union are finalizing a deal for a Danish center back in Norway. And yeah, we thought, what better way to start the year than to come and talk about two big bombshell reports from none other than José Nunez. José, how you doing, though?
I'm doing well. Obviously relearning how to mute and unmute, so it's a little rusty. Last we did a show was what? December. Well, me being on a show with you was December what? Who knows, right? It's been a while, I guess. So no, happy to be here. What a crazy break for me. I had about a week and change off with the family. A lot of it with the family, with the kids not having school and just being busy. So yeah, man, what a I did not have it in my bingo card for 2025 to be talking Kai Wagner to Birmingham City on New Year's Eve. And then a day or two later talking about Mr. Sery Larsen, per sources to me, making his way to Philadelphia. So busy start. And like we always say, Todd, man, it just never slows down with this team. It's anybody who's taking the time off here over the break, man, missing out on a lot of good news or information, period.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, last episode I came on and recorded, which was just talking about Finn Sundstrom joining the Philadelphia Union as a center back, but getting into the discussion saying, yeah, I think maybe he could fit in long-term as a defensive midfielder. Won't have to go back and talk about that. We'll talk about the two latest news. If you guys want to get all things on Finn, go ahead and listen to the last podcast episode. But before we get into the topics, Jose, I do want to ask you a question real quick. So I finally did get my top 10 goals video out from the 2025 Philadelphia Union season. A lot of positive comments on YouTube. And after you guys are done watching the podcast or listening to the podcast, go ahead and check out that video. Want to get over 100 views on that video, and at least on YouTube. I mean, we've already hit over 100 views on everything else, but yeah, let's get over 100 on YouTube. But my question to you, Jose, when you go back and look at 2025, does any particular goal stand out to you? Any particular goals maybe stand out to you during that 2025 season?
Yeah, the fact that you did not include the Damiani goal against DC United is bewildering to me. But hey, reasonable minds can differ. My patented line here at the Free Kick Pod, obviously got it from other podcasts I listen to. If you know, you know. But the Damiani missing was one of them. But then you nailed most of them, man. Like that Lukic goal was incredible. Glesnis's Paulo Di Canio like a volley there was incredible too. Frankie Westfield's belter was also incredible. But man, like I have such a soft spot for that Damiani goal, and it's not because he's South American or anything, but it's not often that you see a player just muscle his way through, albeit a bad 2025 DC United defense. It's still a sick goal to score. So that's the only one that immediately comes to mind. But I think you would have included two other ones had Damiani actually made the goal. I always go back to that one against Toronto that was saved by Sean Johnson, now out in DC United, I think, right? That was the report. Yeah, I think so, right? Sean Johnson went to DC. And then Damiani had another chance. I forget against who. Was it Miami? I can't remember. But a lot of great goals this season. And I think just continues to kind of make me feel bad for this team not achieving more in a way for the season. But it is what it is. Yeah, I thank you for putting that video together, man. I'm sure it was a behemoth of a monster to wrestle together.
Yeah, it was, and I have to give a shout out to Shaggy because when I originally uploaded the video on YouTube, I uploaded the one without like my annotations in my video, my voice over the video, and he's like, "No sound." And I was like, "What's he talking about?" Every place else I got it right, but on YouTube where it matters most, and so I had to delete that video and then go ahead and re-upload it, and it became 13 minutes to 21 minutes. So yeah, there was a lot of fun putting that video together. But let's go ahead and talk about something else that was fun, and maybe it wasn't so fun for you, Jose, just having your phone blow up on New Year's Eve. That is Philadelphia Union transferring Kai Wagner to English Championship side Birmingham City for a reported fee around 2.5 to 2.7 million dollars. And again, Jose, we mentioned in the intro, I just mentioned it 10 seconds ago. I mean, you what, 2 hours before the start of the new year, 3 hours before the start of the new year, you report this bombshell bit of news, and then you wake up, I'm sure, in 2026, and your phone's just still blowing up and getting all these quote tweets, probably DMs too, I'm sure. But yeah, what a way to end your 2025, Jose, with this news that you reported on.
Yeah, and I think was sitting actually at the dining room table with my brother. It was his birthday. He's a New Year's Eve baby, so we were sitting there with him and my sister-in-law and my wife, and I just sort of like, I mean, I had heard of like its machinations, sort of like the wheels moving on it, but I didn't do anything with it. And then finally, started to hear more, and finally, reached out to people to make sure it was squared away and whatnot. And ultimately, it was ready to go. And what a what a monster of a deal, right? In terms of how much that shakes up something like the Eastern Conference, right? To have the best left back in the league, I would say, leave and go to the championship is massive. So my phone's still recovering. Shout out to all the Birmingham fans that suddenly started following and listening. I will be making I made an appearance, or recorded with one of the Birmingham podcasts today over lunch, super quick, and we'll be up and running tomorrow. But got to give them a little bit of grace, right? I get the skepticism, but you don't need skepticism with Kai Wagner. You know what you're going to get from watching MLS, and thumbs down to all the English folks who look down upon MLS so badly. My goodness, are they a bitter bunch, especially a few that I had to tone down a little bit. I don't know how successful I was, but ultimately tried my best. But bit of a shock. What did you think about it, Todd?
Yeah, and I think that's a good point too that you bring up. I mean, you had some fans just absolutely dogging on the Premier League, but we saw it too with Wilfried Nancy, who's now been sacked at Celtic. The Celtic fans just not rating MLS whatsoever, and I think you and I, listeners, Jose, that pay attention to MLS on a weekly basis, we know that it didn't just happen overnight for Wilfried at Columbus Crew. It took him time. It took some stumbling blocks, but he finally got it right. He got the system. The players bought into what he was trying to build. But let's face it, you come in midseason in Europe, when you're in European competition, when you're in the thick of it in your league, where, let's face it, it's only a two-man race, and that's what it's been for years and years and years. And Celtic, they expect to win every single week. And you try to implement this high risk, high reward system midway through the season, you're probably going to be in a similar situation like Wilfried was. And unfortunately, it cost him his job after, I think, 33, 32 days in Celtic, which is crazy. And now I do wonder, does he take some time off? Does he get another shot in Europe? Does he come back to MLS, where most of the manager roles are filled now in MLS? I'm not sure if there's anything left. I think all teams maybe have filled the managers. Raphael Wiki, I saw, just got announced today by Sporting Kansas City. Obviously, you have Wells, who got announced by Colorado Rapids last week, I think it was, or over the weekend, I forget when. But yeah, Michael Bradley introduced today too to the media. So I don't know. I don't think there's any open vacancies anymore in MLS. Somebody in the comments, please let me know if there's any open spots on MLS. But I think they've all been assigned now.
There's always
But
Manchester United.
there is, and what a man! Don't even get me started on that. So you have Darren Fletcher, former player, taking over for at least one game, and then I saw reports today that said apparently Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would be interested in coming back for a limited amount of time until the summertime or whatever. I mean, what a terrible, terrible, terrible run club. It's not as well as the team in the back of you, Jose. That's for sure. I mean, the city of Manchester is completely flipped from red to blue. That is for sure. But what did I think of this news? I think, yeah, I was pretty shocked. Not gonna lie, especially when what every single season, Jose, every single transfer window the last 3-4 years, we've seen reports about Kai Wagner potentially going to different teams in England, different teams in Serie A, in Ligue 1, and
Spain.
Spain. Yeah, that's right. And then Kai would always come back to Philadelphia. He would never leave, and then he signs contract extensions. And so it's like kind of like the boy who cried wolf. I feel like where, yeah, you hear these lies like Kai Wagner's going here, Kai Wagner's going there, and it never really happens. And like Michael says, I mean, there is a rumor that he was gonna go to Miami, which I never really thought was going to happen. I mean, if you pay attention to what's going on in Miami, it's a whole bunch of either Spanish players or Argentine players. And so I was like, yeah, I mean, Kai Wagner is the best left back, like you said, Jose, in MLS. So that does make a lot of sense. But yeah, just watching the kind of signings that Miami had made the last couple seasons, I was like, yeah, this doesn't really fit the bill. But yeah, shocked that it finally happened. I'm not surprised that it happened, but I'm shocked that it finally happened here, Jose. And this really does feel like the end of an era for the Philadelphia Union in a sense. You move on from Jacob Glesnes, you move on from Kai Wagner, you moved on from Leon Flock after last season, you move on from Jack Elliott. Will Bedoya come back? Will he stay? Who knows? Jose Martinez, another big person that you moved on from last season. And you mentioned it. I mean, it does kind of feel a little off that this core group of players could only win 2 Supporter Shields. Kai Wagner, 2-time Supporter Shield winner. You felt like they had enough talent to go and win more trophies, or at least I felt like they had enough talent. Obviously, they make the MLS Cup in 2022, lose that. Maybe if the US Open Cup wasn't such a hot mess, maybe this team could have won an Open Cup if that tournament was taken more serious. Maybe Leagues Cup they could have won. Obviously, the ultimate prize for this group of players was MLS Cup. Doesn't happen. Fell way short this season, and then you make it so close in 2022. But yeah, it feels like it's a turning of the page, and I don't know. I mean, I want to say that yeah, I thought he would be here for a lifer just because. I mean, you had the whole protest of sign Kai, or what was it, pay Kai, something like that, pay Kai or something like that, and
Which
you
is unreal in hindsight. You know, what a
eventually
crazy week that was.
unbelievable. And Kai had talked about the support that he was receiving from the fans and how much that meant to him. And I don't know, it just kind of felt like you watch all these pieces go, but Kai Wagner remains with the Philadelphia Union. Could he potentially go on and be the captain? Yeah, potentially when you watch these pieces go. But then at the end of the day, yeah, the Union, they got an offer, a legitimate offer this time, and you go ahead and accept it. And now he goes to, in my opinion, a league that's comfortable to MLS. So yeah, shocked, but then at the same time too, not shocked just because we've seen so many rumors of Kai leaving every single transfer window.
Right, and you know, is it the end of that Philadelphia Union phase? Likely, right? Especially this offseason. I guess you could have argued that a lot of it was last year too, with Gastag and McGlynn and whatnot, moving Flock in a way too. but man, like this year, it really does feel like there's a hard reset in a way, and that's okay. I think that's to be expected in a way, right? I think what the Union had there for a while was above and beyond in terms of keeping players. Not many clubs do that, and sometimes that isn't good. Sometimes it is good. But with Kai, I think this is a great move for him, and it did not take long for him to make a difference in the championship this weekend. And I don't know that he, I think there was a question about the timing of the move. I don't know how intertwined or interlinked the Glesnes and Kai stuff was. I know that these guys talk to each other and whatnot in the off season, etc. But this is bigger than saying let's run it back with this group. Like, let's get the gang back together, right? Like it's a little bit not as easy as that, considering that the club has to do what's best for itself in a way too, right? But I think what I will say about the Kai move is that it's actually a perfect spot for him. I remember when I was hearing about this from sources, just starting to watch, I think, a couple of games of the championship and fully realizing that, man, this is a side that has a lot of space on the left side. You get someone like Kai just streaking up there and crossing the ball first time, or driving something low and hard across the top of the box or top of the six. This guy's going to end up with double-digit assists potentially, genuinely potentially, just in the short time that he's going to be there this season alone. And lo and behold, he goes and gets his first assist and the first touch cross from streaking up on the left side, exactly how I had sort of envisioned it. So we'll see how teams adjust to them. And again, I give some grace to all of the fans of Birmingham for the skepticism, but those that know ball knew that Kai was always above and beyond what was ever expected out of an MLS player in terms of his quality and his skill, that I think he's going to absolutely thrive. And I think, like you said, be comfortable with playing in the championship, and honestly, maybe even dominated, honestly, just with how much he brings offensively in a league that, where he can get some help defensively from other players. And in terms of the formation, the way that Birmingham plays, he might be a very, very good player for the championship. I think he even went on to make the team of the week or the match day already from this performance. So it's the accolades are coming already after 70 minutes. So, maybe time will tell, of course, but early on, it seems like it's a perfect fit.
Yeah, and we'll go ahead and talk about his debut this past Sunday with Birmingham against Coventry. But I want to bring up this point by John. He brings up a really good point. When he sided with Curtin about spending money, that whole team is gone except Blake and Bedoya. Talking about Kai Wagner there. When look, what I don't know, Jose. Is there something like about you and Kai Wagner? It feels like whenever there's controversy, whenever there's big news to report on Kai Wagner, you're always at the thick of it, because the point that John's talking about when Kai Wagner was complaining about the spending, you're the one who got him to open up and talk about the lack of spending from the Philadelphia Union, wanting them to spend more money to push his team to the next level. And John's right. Jim Curtin was furious multiple times. I mean, you and I said in the press conference room when he talked about the amount of money that New York City had spent on Talles Magno, and the Union weren't spending anywhere close to that kind of money to bring a player of his talent into the league. And let's face it, it didn't really work out that well with New York City, but at least they had ambition spending that type of money. And Kai Wagner talked about that with you in the locker room, right? Saying that, yeah, he wants to see the Philadelphia Union be a little bit more ambitious. I don't want to put words in their mouth, but if I'm not mistaken, Bedoya and Blake also shared similar viewpoints as Kai Wagner, and then Kai had to turn it down because I'm sure he got it talking to by multiple people at the club. But Kai was at the forefront of saying, yeah, we need to be spending more to be competitive with the likes of Cincinnati, LAFC, the Inter Miamis in the league. And it did eventually happen, but it got the Union their second supporter shield, and they couldn't get their ultimate goal of MLS Cup. But I thought that was a pretty good point to bring up there by John. I completely had forgot about that, how the people that had spoke up are pretty much no longer here at the club. It really does feel like the turn of a page.
No, it really does. And, I see this comment by Oliver Perry, 9530. Thank you for joining. I don't know if you're from abroad or not. I assume you are, but um, that's what Kai that's what Kai gives you. He puts the ball in spots where it's incredibly difficult to miss, or honestly, it's just the easiest ball possible. I guess they're all, and those are really the same thing. But like that's what the next one. Sorry, it's the 923 one. Even if Birmingham currently does not have a good number 9, Kai will make any number 9 look good with the way that he crosses the ball, where he puts it in place, and again, just making it tap ins or just deflections. And make no mistake, he can also bang a nice shot. I mean, think about that goal against Toronto, right? Sure, a deflection, but that was on net. And even if there was nobody in the way, that shot would have been a pretty clear goal, I think, with the way that it was driven low and hard on a rainy surface in Toronto. So, yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know what else we have to say about Kai outside of, well, first and foremost, it was so painful over the break to wake up that early to watch Birmingham at 7 a.m. after staying up till 3 a.m. for most of the break playing Nintendo Switch, and then waking up in the morning was just rough. But we were rewarded pretty quickly with those that 6-minute mark, and what a game that was! Like back and forth, and ultimately Tom Brady's team got it done. So I don't know, what do you all say over there in Birmingham? Up the Blues. I know that the Visit Birmingham, Alabama tourist center is advertising on the tail of your jerseys, which is ridiculous. But I don't know, Up the Blues, I'm guessing. I don't know, some shit like that.
Yeah, I think it is. I think you're actually right, Jose. But I do want to play Kai Wagner's or a comment from his first interview with the club, talking about how, as players, it's always a dream to play in England.
As a player, when you start, like, England will always be like the biggest country of football. So like every kid has a dream to play one time in England, and Birmingham City is a club where like everybody knows in the whole world about, which has like big impressions in Germany too. When I spoke a little bit to my friends too and all this stuff, everybody knew it already, and that's why I came here. That's why I'm really excited to be here, and yeah.
So I had texted you, Jose, listening to that interview. Thank you for sharing it on Twitter, but I was like, my God, the amount of lies that this guy is saying in his interview, talking about how, Birmingham, people back home know about this club. This is why I want to come here. Talking about how, people in America know about Tom Brady's involvement with the club. I'm like, no, they don't. People don't talk about Tom Brady's involvement with Birmingham. But I get it, right? I mean, it's your very first interview. You get your move back to Europe, and you're playing in a pretty competitive league. Like, I'm not going to diss the championship. It's a very physical league. I would say it's physical, just like the Premier League, just like MLS. Obviously, there's a lot more at stake with relegation and promotion to the Premier League. You obviously have the playoffs to potentially get into the Premier League, and the amount of money that's at stake for teams that get promoted. I get it. It's a lot bigger beast than MLS, but I would say the quality's around the same. But yeah, it it just made me laugh, Jose. Like listening to Kai talk about how, it was always a dream of his to play in England, which I'm sure probably was. I'm not sure if the championship was a dream. I think he's being very kind to the Birmingham fans, saying, it's always a dream of mine to play in England. I think we all know that you meant the Premier League, Kai. Look, let's face it. Maybe Birmingham goes on a crazy run here, and maybe he does get to play in the Premier League one day with them. I did find it interesting, though, that he only signed a 2.5-year contract with Birmingham, where, let's face it, I mean, in 16th place, did they move up this past weekend with a win? I'm not sure. I'll look. I'm sure the Birmingham.
I think they moved to like 13th or 12th. I can't remember. Hey, while you're searching it, I want to give a answer to this question. Daniel McMullen, first time, long time listener, I believe. First time question, long time listener. He asked, "Is Kai, or was Kai? I guess is Kai on the national team radar?"
Honestly, what national team? What national team?
Definitely not Germany. I can't imagine. But Kai has actually fulfilled all the requirements as far as I'm concerned in terms of the length needed with those 5 years living within the States, that if you wanted to apply for, I guess the term is citizenship, but I guess also the whatever. He is able to apply to be able to represent the United States. I don't know if he ever went on to do any of that, but and I don't know if it all reset now that he left. I don't know how that all works, but certainly would be an intriguing depth piece for a World Cup squad, right? I'm not sure that I'm fairly certain he would make a squad, at least at the left back position, either a second or third string going into the World Cup. And to Danny McMullen, I just want to give a shout out to his tiny little baby Stevie. Joined this world a few months ago. So shout out to Danny and Demi. Congratulations to both of them.
Shout out. I'm glad you recognize the name. I did not, Jose. My apologies.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, he's only tuning in for Jose Nunez here, but yeah, 2.5-year contract for Kai Wagner, and we'll see what happens. But before we talk about his debut, I know you had touched on a little bit, Jose, and what a performance it was. I do want to talk about his legacy, Kai's legacy in Philadelphia. 7 years, 253 games, 10 goals, 54 assists, and I know the Union reported more assists than what I said, 54, but I absolutely hate counting secondary assists because nobody else in the world's counting secondary assists. Do you think they're going to count secondary assists in the championship? Absolutely not. But yeah, I mean, what a season that Kai Wagner had this past year with the Union. You could say arguably his biggest season, but what a career he had, right, Jose? 2-time Supporters Shield winner, all-time leader in assists, runner-up in the MLS Cup in 2022, 3-time MLS All-Stars in 21, 22, 25, 2 times MLS Best 11, 22, and 25. Been nominated for Defender of the Year twice. I mean, Kai Wagner, and somebody had asked it, if I can find the comment here again. A lot of comments, a lot of questions. Keep them coming, guys. We'll try to get to as many as we can. We appreciate all the people that are tuning in. But Kai Wagner, in my opinion, and here we go. Shaggy says, did Kai do enough to get into the Ring of Honor? And then he asked as a follow-up, did Jacob? I'll go ahead and give that to you, Jose. I mean, looking at the stats, top 4 in minutes played for the Union in all competitions. Obviously, the all-time assist leader. I believe he was number 4 all-time in the Union for appearances for the club, too. I mean, in his 7 years, I mean, he has so many accolades, and how many times do we have to talk about it? Jose, during his time here, was, if not the best left back in MLS.
I think he makes it. What an incredible time with Philadelphia and all the accolades you mentioned. I mean, honestly, probably the spark that flipped this team in a way, right? When he finally joined and went on to do what he did with the team. So I say yes. How about you? Do you think he makes the Ring of Honor?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'll go on record and say I think Kai Wagner is the best Philadelphia Union to ever wear the jersey. I know that some of the older fans may feel attached to Sebastian Letou and all that he did for the club, especially during some absolute dog water days for the club, which, let's face it, maybe Seba's stats look even better if he was placed in this Union 3.0
Yeah.
with Kai Wagner sending him balls. I mean, I don't know, maybe he breaks 100 goals for the club. But
that's a good question, Todd. Next time we see Seba, we should ask him, how many goals do you think you would have scored off of Kai Wagner had you two, like, spend time together a couple of seasons? I bet you Seba would say like 20, easily 20.
Easily. And let's not forget too all the different positions that the Union had Seba playing. I mean, God, he was a part of some god awful teams. I mean, there was a time that he was playing as a fullback.
Yeah.
I mean, God bless them, man. So, I mean, I can understand the fans that are saying that, yeah, Sebastian Letou is the greatest Philadelphia Union player of all time, and maybe there is some recency bias in Kai Wagner, but I don't know, man. You look what he did for the Union offensively, all the chances that he created, and I was thinking about this over the weekend, Jose, when I was driving up to come see you and your family, and shout out Evan. I was like, man, there was Jack McGlynn here, one of your better chance creators, gone. Kai Wagner now gone. Quinn Sullivan's going to be missing for half the season. Where are the chances going to come from? And I think they're going to come from places. I think Milan Lasky is going to play a big part. I think Kevin Sullivan's going to play a bigger role. And I mean, to say that Kevin or Milan are going to be able to do what Kai Wagner did, I think is crazy. And I'm sure there's still going to be some signings for the Union here. There is one that we'll talk about that's not offensive, but we'll talk about the one that the Union are finalizing. But yeah, it's crazy to me just to look the last 2 years now the Union have lost the three biggest chance creators, two because they sold and one to injury. And I do think that they will find ways to replace his assists, but yeah, for sure. Just all that Kai's done offensively for this team gets him into the Ring of Honor. But then you look at him defensively, he's a great 1v1 defender. You could make the argument that he was the Union's best 1v1 defender. Yeah, there was moments where he would get beat. There would be moments where he would have lack of concentration. But at the end of the day, you could always rely on Kai to hold his own defensively. So there's no doubt in my mind that Kai deserves to be in the Ring of Honor just because of how successful he's been in 7 seasons with the Union and all the different accolades that he's picked up.
Yeah, I mean the accolades alone tell the tale, right? Never mind the records, etc. So 100% in the Ring of Honor. I don't even know why I questioned it or why I even had to think about it. But it does bring the question, right? Like how does this get replaced? Where from where, right? Is it? I don't know that they have it now. It's just gonna have to be something from external, and it can't be. I guess it could be a cash for bringing somebody in, but I can't think of any left back that would fit the Philadelphia model right now that's within MLS.
Definitely not within MLS. You got to go overseas, I would imagine. And this front office deserves all the credit in the world. If they've done it before, why can't they do it again? I mean, yeah, Kai Wagner is a good player, but there's got to be plenty of Kai Wagners out there. And so I think this front office will be able to find a replacement. Will he be as good as Kai? Maybe the first couple seasons, no, but this team will sign a left back. There is no denying that. I saw some people on social media saying, well, maybe it's going to be Frankie Westfield. Maybe it's going to be Nathan Harriel. No, they'll go out there and get a left back. That's for sure. There was a comment earlier in the show. I mean, there's so many comments, and I appreciate it, guys. Keep them coming. But somebody had asked, with Larsen coming, does that mean Martinez is dead? No, I talked about that last episode. It's still going to happen. You need depth. You're in multiple competitions, but this seems just not going to roll with Frankie Westfield and Nathan Harriel and be fine with that as the two potential left backs. So they'll go out and find somebody. But again, whoever they bring in, it's a big shoes to fill in a player of Kai Wagner's abilities. But the last thing that I want to say about Kai, and then we can talk about his debut and then talk about the other bit of news that you reported on Jose, is as good as Kai was on the field, I think he deserves a lot of credit for what he did off the field with Charlotte. If I'm not mistaken, that was her name, the little girl who had cancer, and how involved Kai was with that family and just with the Union's outreach with Kisses with Kyle. Kai Wagner was at a big forefront of that, and I think that gets lost a lot of times too with these players. Look, people know them because of what they do on the field, but they're off the work stuff is just as, if not even more important. And Kai played such a big role in making this girl feel loved, her family feeling loved and appreciated. And I think that, yeah, I'll remember Kai for what he did on the field, but it's what he did with Kisses for Kyle and specifically this girl Charlotte. So I did want to bring that up because again, everybody's talking about what Kai did on the field, which we should be talking about, but his stuff off the field too was just as important in my opinion.
Yeah, he was. He was so heavily involved with that. He and his wife Jenny, I think is her
Yeah,
name. were so unbelievably involved with Kisses for Kyle. They embraced it. I think even up to the last minute were involved with going to the hospitals and whatnot, unless it was just a photo op that ultimately finally came out way later. I think it all stands. I mean, I'm just so glad that program still stands. The Fearless 43 program, I think it's called. If I don't, Ali Gentile, I think that's how you say her last name. When she left to go to the Texans, I was worried about it, and I'm glad it continued and hopefully continues for the foreseeable future. But I know it's something that's not tangible. But to your point of yes, the type of person he was with his community work. Sure, absolutely. Also incredibly difficult to replace what he did on the field in terms of metrics and work rate. But not tangible, man. The amount of fight that guy had was unbelievable. He would not take shit from anybody, nobody. He did not care. He was not shy about giving what was it, like a big old fuck off to whatever player got in the way. In fact, I remember seeing the video. Yes. Wasn't there was the video where the some of the team members were grilling, and they were watching the All-Star game, which happened in Austin. They said that they were cracking up because even at the All-Star game, Kai's telling referees to go fuck themselves. So the dude just has fight, and that's very hard to replace, especially that type of fight. So listen, I don't know if it's time to flip the topic a little bit, but best wishes to that dude. Incredible that the Union got him for whatever it was, $50,000, and then whatever other $70,000, and just flipped them after 7 years into over $2 million. Like, you can be upset as a fan. You can be upset that you just bought his kit. I would argue that you just got a kit of somebody who's going to ultimately be a legend to the club, even at a club that's 17 years old. You ultimately bought a great kit to be flashing about alongside the Martinez's of the world, the Latu's of the world, and at some point the Blakes and Bedoyas as well. So, congratulations to him, and eager to wake up in the mornings and watch some more championship soccer nowadays.
Yeah, it's a good transition. So 7 a.m., as you talked about, Jose, my God, what an early wake-up call, especially for somebody who has 2 young kids, and they're waking up earlier than a 7 a.m. kickoff. So shout out to you for being a trooper and getting up early. And yeah, it was a great time watching this game. Kai Wagner, as you mentioned, Jose, 6 minutes in, gets an assist. Birmingham City beat league leaders Coventry 3-2. And Coventry, under Frank Lampard, looked like, and still do, in my opinion, I would say, look like the league leaders to get promoted up to the Premier League next season. A couple Birmingham fans in the comments throughout the show, and keep the comments coming, and I'm sure you guys are going to continue to check out the show, or at least I would hope you guys continue to check out the show. I saw you mention, Jose, that maybe Frankie Westfield would be a good fit for Birmingham City. They desperately need a right back, and if you had success with the Union's left back, why not go for their right back who's up and coming? But this comment earlier in the show by Evil Spirit, he said, as a championship fan, Birmingham have a manager, speaking of Chris Davies, and lots of money. His talents will be wasted there. Should have gone to at least a good championship side. And we talked about it, Jose, that, over the years, Kai was linked with multiple different teams. Ipswich, if I'm not mistaken, he was linked with. Coventry, he was linked with. And it so happened to be Birmingham City, the team that Kai Wagner winds up going to.
Say that again. I was just reading a message I received. I'm so sorry. I was not expecting that.
No, you're good. Just talking about Kai Wagner's debut. Gets the assist 6 minutes in, 3-2 win. Wins multiple tackles in this game. And I thought it was interesting too at one point in this game where the commentator's like, oh man, Wagner is going to be exposed here 1v1, and then he wins his tackle with ease. And I'm like, even the commentators doubting Kai Wagner. It's like you could tell this guy did not watch MLS, did not see that Kai Wagner is a good 1v1 defender. And he's like, oh, he's exposed. And I thought as soon as he said it, Kai wins the tackle, and now Birmingham's going the other way in the counterattack. Hilarious.
Yeah, it was comical. I mean, listen, it's also funny to me. I don't know how it works in England, but I maybe tiptoe the line of what's acceptable, what's not acceptable in terms of sharing footage of games that I record and share via social media. but so funny that people in the UK were just confused onto why I flipped. And I guess you kind of gotta know, but flipping the image and messing with the pitch of the sound of the broadcast, so the bots online don't catch me and take it down. But it could not have been a better, honestly, a better start to his career there. And I think in reading some interviews today from I'm just looking up his name super quick, Alex Dicken, who I jumped on a podcast from the UK. He writes for the Birmingham City Live, the Keep Right On podcast. Kai mentioned how I was like, listen, I did not get the there we go, thank you. He did not get the go ahead to play up until Saturday night. So it was a late addition that he was going to be able to make it, and mentioned that, yeah, sure, the deal was sort of initiated, or the conversations were initiated in mid to early December. He must have ran over 1,000 miles in that time between games, I guess, to stay in shape, because he knew that this might have been the season or the off season for a move. So for him to go on and do what he did was great. I'm excited to see how much better he gets once he gets to know his teammates better, right? Because he literally had a short prep. Yeah, an assist, but he did that after, or he completed 7 minutes after practicing with his teammates for probably an hour tops before going into a team hotel or whatever, seeing his family at a hotel where they don't have a home yet. So he's at home with his 3 kids, sort of trying to survive a little bit. So kudos to him. I think he's going to do wonders over there. Not much else to add on that front.
Yeah, I mean, 3-2 game. I mean, crazy scoreline. And as soon as Wagner came off, I mean, you and I texted each other, and you had told Evan, you're like, yeah, they're going to lose this. And I had the same thought as you, Jose. It's like, man, you take off all these pieces, you're changing it around too much. I'm like, why? Why are you changing the team up this much? You switched to a back 3, and I had no faith in Birmingham City, and I know they don't typically lose games at home, but man, credit to Chris Davies for getting it right and having the trust and belief in his players, where I know it hasn't went to plan for Birmingham City fans this season. And I think that's why you see some of the comments tonight on the show, like, yeah, I mean, they're a team that sits in 14th place. I know prior to the game they were in 16th. Kai should have went to a higher level team, and maybe Birmingham City does go higher up the table. And you had mentioned, Jose, when you watch a game before Kai Wagner was there, you're like, man, they need everything. Like they could do with everything. And watching this game, I was like, they need a new goalkeeper. I can tell you that. They're playing a
right
back. Yeah, it's crazy. And maybe Kai is, hopefully, I'm sure for the Birmingham fans, just the start of a very long January transfer window. But yeah, I think you saw in his first game, Kai Wagner, exactly what he adds. He's not the fastest player, but he does attack space well. He does read the game very well. He does track back after getting forward. He does put in a very good cross. And Kai had said after the game that wasn't even a great cross in his opinion. And I saw people on social media like, if that's not a good cross, then what were you guys seeing in MLS? Yeah, we were seeing some amazing crosses from Kai Wagner and good shots too. He had a shot in this game too that was on target, didn't test the goalkeeper, but look, Kai could have potentially have wound up getting a secondary assist if they would have countered and finished one of the counterattacks where he wins the ball back and he's just bombing forward on the left. But I think if you're Kai Wagner, you can have asked for a better debut, and I think the Birmingham City fans would agree with that. You Union fans that watch that game, I'm sure you guys probably feel the same way, that it was an immediate impact. You weren't surprised to see Kai start that strong. But there's just one more clip that I want to play, Jose, real quick, and then we'll go ahead and talk about the Sery Larsen deal, or finalizing of the deal. Kai Wagner was asked about after the game, just how did he find the level in his very first championship game?
Good. I mean, I had one training session yesterday, so like for me it was just try to stay as best way as I can, and just maintain like the things what I can. Like I'm a good player, I know that for myself too. So like the level is higher here. That's why I came here. That's why I want to like come to this league too, to the team too. So it was for me more like win my own duels. It was a great play I played today against. I didn't know a lot about Coventry before, but like I said to myself, just go out there, have fun, and enjoy it, and I did.
Yeah, Kai, if I'm being honest, I don't think you know a lot about the championship, even though in your interviews you were acting like, yeah, everybody knows about the championship, especially over in America. We all know about the championship. Not so fast, but I get it. It's a brand new club. I'm sure they're paying you a pay raise than what you were making in Philadelphia.
Can we agree on something?
Yeah.
The Paramount app is absolute ass.
Oh,
it is
so bad, dude.
garbage. If I click on a game, why are you asking me if I really want to watch this?
Watch it now, yeah.
It's like, yes, I tapped on this to watch it. Like, dumb. Just let me watch it. Sorry. Just wanted to share that.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, the amount of times it was asking me on my Xbox, and then like it would freeze a couple times. I'm like, stop freezing. So I had to back out and then replay it. I'm like, come on now. Like, just cooperate with me. I said after the 72nd minute or whatever, I said, okay, you can act up. And I watched the rest of the game to see how it went. And yeah, Birmingham, to their credit, were able to hold on. Coventry eventually get a red card later on in this game and are down to 10 men. But yeah, I thought it was a really good debut by Kai Wagner, talking about the quality being higher than what it is in MLS. I mean, if you ask some of the data nerds, especially over at Opta, they would argue and say that it's the same quality as MLS. I can remember a couple years ago at the United Soccer Coaches Convention in Philadelphia, Ernst Tanner was actually asked about the quality of MLS compared to other leagues, and he went on record and said it to a room of probably 200 people and said that he would put the championship at the same level as MLS, and that was a couple seasons ago. And I'd be curious if, Ernst Tanner's opinion changed. Does he think the MLS is higher? Does he think it's lower? But I would say that's probably accurate, that your top teams in MLS would do quite well, maybe fight for a playoff spot in the championship. I don't think any MLS team would win it, but some of those lower table teams, Oxford United, who we know Philadelphia Union sent Stuart Finley there, did not work out for Stuart Finley there. A Blackburn Rovers, a Norwich City, who I cannot believe are struggling as bad as they are this season. Sheffield Wednesday, I think, yeah, most teams in MLS would be able to beat those teams comfortably. But yeah, I think MLS and the championship isn't as big of a jump as people on social media were making it out to be, Jose. And a lot of those people on social media that were dogging MLS and Kai Wagner quickly changed their opinion after that debut by Kai.
I genuinely believe that LAFC, Inter Miami, San Diego at their best could beat Coventry. Genuinely believe that in a couple of matches. It would not be a blowout either side, but I do believe that they could go head to head, especially LAFC with the way they ended last year, with that type of momentum could play against Coventry. You know what was funny? Actually, Frank Lampard after the match called most of the goals that
yeah, I saw
they conceded very average. So I don't know, man. I feel like the championship opinions are a little diluted here. I don't even know that they really know what they're saying out there, because I really, sure, Kai bias outside away from it, but like that goal from the Kai cross was pretty damn good, I would say.
First time finish, yeah, it was excellent by Marvin.
Fantastic.
I don't know. Maybe Frank Lampard's losing the plot now. 2 losses in the last 3 for Coventry after they had previously only lost 2 games all season long. Now they have 2 in the last 3. I don't know. Maybe he's feeling the pressure by Middlesbrough there. Who, by the way,
he's taking the piss, as they say.
Yeah, typical English phrase. Aidan Morris looking great for Middlesbrough. Addison Malanda also looked great too on his debut for Middlesbrough. And look, more MLS guys starting to share their worth. That look, just because we're coming from MLS doesn't mean that we're bad players. And Kai Wagner said it there, that he trusts himself as a player, that he knows he's a quality player, and we saw it last week. Daniel says, I can't help but notice a Manchester City jersey on your wall. What are your thoughts on City dropping points recently and playing below average? You want to take
I
that?
don't think we have to. I don't think we have to remember, Daniel, too much about this. What was it? The City, the year that City beat Arsenal by 1 point to win the league, or was it 2 points? I can't remember anymore. But it's okay, Daniel. We'll see who's laughing at the end of the season.
I feel like Arsenal always choke it when it matters. When the games start to get a little bit more intense towards the end of the season, they always find a way to blow it. And so I would not be surprised if that happens again this season with Arsenal. But let's go ahead and fix those topics to last bit of news, and that is your report, Jose. I'll let you go ahead and lead this segment because transfer market still will not load for me. So go ahead, Jose. You can take this one.
Yeah, the Union are finalizing a deal to bring Japhet Sery Larsen, Danish center back who's currently playing in Norway for SK Brann, to the Philadelphia Union. So I think that this is the center back number 1, number 2 to go along with Macania and Henier Martinez being a rotational piece alongside whoever is remaining. I honestly haven't asked too much around those rumors in terms of Mr. Pierre, but I'm sure something will come out sooner rather than later. Interesting that SK Bronn's actually at Marbella right now, doing their preseason. So I wonder if there's going to be some sort of overlap there. I wonder if they just tell him to go home and come back. Obviously, he has to do a physical at some point if it's not done already. But an interesting piece. Having watched a little bit of video, certainly likes to go up for headers. Can pass a good ball. Physical. And has a little bit of speed, I would say, for a center back. So I am intrigued to see how he fits. And although age 25, a little bit older, and it's crazy to say a little bit older, right? But in very Philadelphia Union, in a very Philadelphia Union way, a team out of nowhere in a league in the middle of nowhere in a way, but just a little bit older for the profile that I think we're used to seeing for players that come to Philadelphia. So we'll see how long it takes for them to announce it, but I should be getting over the finish line at some point here, unless there's a major hiccup.
Yeah, 25 years old, which isn't a typical signing like Martinez, who we're just waiting for the club to officially announce that. But Martinez being 22 and Sery Larsen being 25 years old, I would imagine that he probably goes into the starting 11 next to Macania. But again, no spot is guaranteed in a Bradley Cornell lineup. We saw that last season, 29 unique roster lineups last season. So look, Bradley Cornell's not afraid to change things up, and I don't think that it's going to change next season. You got to earn your spot, and whoever looks great in practice, you're probably going to be on that match day squad. But yeah, I think this is a really positive signing once it's announced, once it's done. 98 appearances in Norway. I think you had wrote in your report, Jose, on Twitter. Has Europa League experience, had Champions League qualifying experience against Brendan Aronson's former club in RB Salzburg, which Brann eventually lost. I think they lost that like 5-2 in qualification. But still, you get a player of this quality, a player that is going to add speed to your back line, which, let's face it, you do need speed. Macania put out a lot of fires, but now maybe he doesn't have to put out as many fires when he has a center back playing next to him that is just as fast. And so I think this team's going to continue to be aggressive. I think this team's continuing to be athletic, and they know what kind of players they want. And we've seen that in all the signings that they make, Jose, is they want players that are versatile. They want players that can press. They want players that are good in pressing systems. And I think that's exactly what you get with Sery Larsen. I think that you want your center backs being comfortable on the ball. You want your center backs not being afraid to take risks and push up high, try to win the ball back. And, if you don't win the ball, you have somebody there to cover for you. And so I think this is a very intriguing signing. I think this is a big replacement to fill in for Jacob Glesnes. And I think the thing that excites me is just having that European experience.
Hmm.
Yes, it's one thing playing in Europe in European leagues, but it's another thing playing one of those midweek games under the floodlights in Europe. And so to see a player of his quality come to Philadelphia or being finalized to come to Philadelphia at the age of 25, I think this is huge, and this is a great get for the Philadelphia Union.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch. Should it get finalized? I'm also excited to see who the preseason is against while they're out in Marbella. So I think, and who the hell I have to give money to. And I know that's a running joke that I bring up, but who the hell I have to give money to be able to stream it and watch while I'm away. Um, but I think he's an interesting profile because it is a taller, lankier player, right? Like it's gonna be a different profile in terms of what Glesnes brought. So I'm intrigued. I'm super optimistic, and I have zero reason to doubt the scouting, the report, the profile, right? The way that he fits into what Bradley Cornell likes to do, which once again is to get the ball up as fast as possible. Which I think he can do that.
I have a question for you here, Jose. Just looking at his Wikipedia, it looks like Sery Larsen for a moment in time was in the academy at Lingby. Assuming that coaches that were at Lingby during his time there in the academy are still at the club today, you think that relationship played any factor with the Union's partnership with him?
I would think unlikely, but I'll never say no. Shut it down. It's not as close as Alado and Carnell's old assistant coach basically saying like, yeah, this is a good guy. Like it's not that tight of a connection, but I wouldn't shut it down, but I also wouldn't put money on it being a deciding factor.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I saw people earlier, and people on social media had been asking me last night what the transfer fee is going to be. And John, I think, said earlier in the show that he saw between $1.2 million for Siri Larson. You didn't report on it, Jose, so I would imagine that you haven't heard anything on transfer fee yet. I don't want to put you out there. I haven't seen any other American journalists say a transfer fee or a proposed transfer fee. So we'll see once this gets closer to being finalized. But yeah, it does look like the Union will have another center back and Martinez will get done. And I would imagine then when you look at the rest of this roster, you still need another striker. I would say you need an attacking midfielder, and then obviously you need a left back. The club's going to go out and get a left back. I imagine you go out and still get a striker. I saw some comments asking about updates for Mikaur. I have not heard anything. I don't know about you, Jose. And then probably another attacking midfielder, I would imagine, with Quinn Sullivan not coming back till the middle part of the season.
Yeah, and some of the reports I did see for a fee were in kroner, and I know that's an incredibly advantageous conversion rate for the dollar, but I can't imagine that. Say if it was 1,000,000 kroner, that comes up to $99,000. I don't believe that for a second. So I'm guessing it's probably likely more like 1,000,000 euros or so. 25 million and a quarter, maybe 1.5 million if they really want to try to squeeze it out of the Union. But it's also a player that I'm guessing was probably sought after by other clubs multiple times ahead of this. Intrigued to see when maybe there's finally a I'm looking it up right now. Maybe Marbella is posting some of the score lines, but are they keeping them off of the starting lineups for some of these matches? That's what I'm super intrigued about.
That's true. We do know the Union have a date against CF Montreal on February 10th. We knew the Union would be playing Cincinnati and CF Montreal, but we didn't know when the Union would play those games. We have an official date now against Montreal, the 10th, down in Clearwater, Florida. And then we'll see who the Union play in Spain. I'm hoping one of the German teams. I would love to see a Dortmund or Bayern Munich. I mean, the Union, I'm sure, would get absolutely pummeled. But man, wouldn't that be cool to say you're Bruno Damiani, you're going up against a Bayern Munich, you're going up against a Joshua Kimmich. You have Harry Kane, the opposite side of you, a player that's just world class and a player who I would say you're a little bit similar to. I think Damiani is a little bit faster than Harry Kane is, but both like to use the body, both good in the hold up play, both dominant in the 18-yard box. But yeah, I would love to see a Bayern Munich or a Dortmund just because. I mean, that would be so awesome. Yes, I know that the Union have played English teams and friendlies early in the franchise in the club's history, but come on, this seems in a much better place than they were in the early days. And wouldn't you want to test yourself against European giants in Dortmund and Bayern Munich? I would love to see that happen.
It would be fun as hell for sure. So just some quick Googling. SK Brann plays Copenhagen on January 10th. So 5 days away. I guess I'll be monitoring their SK Brann's social media to see if they even plaster him for anything. They might just put him in a dark room to not get him injured or anything. So until the transfer goes through and all the paperwork's done. So more to come.
The one thing I will say though, I will be pissed if the Union play any of the MLS teams that are going to Marbella. I mean, what a waste that would be to fly all the way to Spain and now you're playing against Toronto or Seattle. Like, what are we doing if that's the case? I don't think that happens. I really don't.
If that happens, I refuse to watch any of it, honestly.
Does Apple stream it?
Dude, honestly, we think about how, and we've talked about how does Apple make that product more appealing? Granted, obviously, it's coming off of its own app now into the general service that is Apple TV Plus, I guess it's called. Streaming preseason games would be such a massive thing, even if it's just the domestic ones, right? Just like ship a camera, even if it's a cheapy setup, just send it over to some of these Florida places and maybe work with the Coachella thing and stream all those games. That would be great, but who knows, man?
Who knows indeed. But that's pretty much it from me. Jose, anything else you want to say before we go ahead and end the show?
No, nothing. Excited to see these deals come through, or the deal come through in terms of Sery Larsen. I'm going to continue to refer to him that way until I know exactly how to pronunciate his first name. But even more excited to try to figure out who they will be playing in Spain, hopefully before they announce it, just because I'm a dork and I want to know that. But I know Nashville announced who they're playing. I know Montreal announced who they're playing as well in preseason. I think even the Vancouver Whitecaps even outlined when they're flying out to go somewhere else for preseason. So it's all happening fast. And I suppose probably today was the first day of optional practices for some of these guys that are still in the area. So it's all ramping up quick, man. It's going to be here before we know it. And it's opening away at DC, right, for the Union for MLS?
Yeah.
Yeah, so before you know it, we'll be trying to figure out a train or driving down to DC to watch this game. I'm not missing I don't want to miss the DC game away this year. I was bummed, but then again, I was in Ireland for it, if I recall correctly. So it was a worthwhile excuse.
Yeah, I mean, you missed an exciting game, but when you get to go overseas, Jose, I think you made the right decision. What about Feyenoord? That would be cool. I'm looking at the list of teams that are there. It'd be awesome. I mean, Julian's obviously not there, but would you want to see the Union go off against a Dutch powerhouse?
I don't even know who manages them anymore. Van Persie got let go not too long ago.
That. Jeez.
Yeah. So he's not there anymore. Again, I have no clue who is.
Basel would be cool.
Yeah. Okay. Someone just said on social media 20 million, I'm guessing kroner for Larsen. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what that translates to. Probably 1 million was what, 99,000. So I guess that does kind of add up to close to the figure we were talking about. So
yeah, Ghent.
We'll probably never find out.
Man, I mean, there's definitely a lot of intriguing clubs here. Cologne. I mean, they've got to play a German team. There are so many German teams here that it makes sense to play against at least one. I mean, I doubt the Union play against Dortmund or Bayern Munich. Sorry, I'm getting distracted looking at all these teams here. Feels like it's more teams this year than it was last year for the Union. Maybe am I right?
You mean for the training center?
Yeah.
They had a bunch. I think it does feel like more in that graphic, but I don't recall.
So many teams, dude. But we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But yeah, an hour and 4 minutes in, an hour and 5 now. And yeah, lots of you guys chiming in, lots of comments. And I do apologize that we couldn't get into even more of your questions or comments. They were just all coming in just way too fast for me to keep up with. And StreamYard doesn't allow two people to control the comments, only the host of the episode. I wish, Jose, they would allow you to pull up comments too, but it is what it is. We appreciate all the people tuning in. We appreciate all the comments. You guys are the best part of the show. If you guys aren't following the podcast on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, follow at Free Kick Pod, wherever you get your podcast of The Free Kick. Check out the YouTube channel, youtube.com/freekickpod. And you can check out the goals breakdown videos, like I said, at the beginning of the show. Check out my top 10 goals of the 2025 season and top 10 saves. Let's get both of those videos over 100 on YouTube. And then if you guys want to check out my writing, goals breakdown videos, or the podcast all in one place, thefreekick.substack.com. As Shaggy says, I even get the emails. Yes, you can sign up for emails through Substack, where I send all that stuff straight to your inboxes. I make it super easy for you guys to find all the content that Jose and I are doing. But Jose, where can people go ahead and follow you?
At Jose R. Nunez 91 on social media, which then has all of my stuff. Yeah, there we go. Jose R. Nunez 91. And make sure you like this video, share this video. I know Mike, who might be watching, I'm not sure. We're working to try to figure out what it looks like for AAT Sports. Super excited with some of the ideas that we have. A little more interactive, I think, and potentially even a few surprises that I think will be fun. But yeah, AAT Sports coming back as soon as the season gets back. So in the meantime, you can find me here and likely also for the foreseeable future as we continue to collaborate. So AAT Sports, the Free Kick podcast, just happening, man. Just busy as hell.
It's just happening. Well, we will see you guys when there is more news to report, whenever news feels like breaking itself. But until then, my name's Todd, and this is